Right, and we're live. How you doing, Tom?
Pretty good. Any day there's a new Nassim Haramein video, I'm going to be very happy.
Nassim Haramein. Who's this?
Yeah, the physicist. The guy who
I know who
we
he is.
yeah.
I figured people might not know who he is. I don't know.
Well, he's been like elbows deep inside of his mathematical equations, right? Like we first
Mhm.
heard of him years and years ago, where he was talking about vortex based mathematics, where he envisioned the universe as this torus, right? That a donut that had the effects of a donut that rotates, has the effect of, at one perspective, to look like it's expanding, and on the other perspective, to look like it's contracting. And so he was explaining how you could have this infinite expansion and contraction mechanism that didn't violate the laws of physics. I thought that was interesting. But that was like, I don't know, 10. I saw it like 10, 15 years ago, and he's been developing this concept ever since. So now he talks about like this. Uh, uh, what does he call it? Basically, he was able to generate a model of the entire universe by going very small to the smallest Planck scale, and through some fancy quantum physics mathematics, was able to show that there's an infinite number of, not an infinite, a certain number of black holes on the surface. Imagine a sphere on the surface, there's an infinite number of black holes that each tie to every other particle in the universe, and that's how things can be quantum entangled. That's how things are all connected, because there's this hole in space connecting every particle to every other particle. And then when he calculated what is the when from that level he extrapolated what would be the size of the universe if this was true. He got the size of the universe to within 0.0000001 like accuracy, which was more accurate than the measured size of the universe at the time. And then on the CERN reactor, later on, they were doing this experiment to calculate what's the size of the universe, and they got it to closer to his calculation. Like, it looks like the CERN calculation for the size of the universe is still slightly off, and his is like the dead on accurate one. That they're getting closer to his thing. And he also confirmed an Einstein paper that was recently resurfaced. Turns out that it confirmed something that he said a few years ago. So it's almost like Einstein came back from the grave and validated his thesis. So very excited whenever I get more from him. And this guy's always working.
That's really something else. I'm gonna have to. You sent me the video, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I remember
Yeah,
back in the day, I wasn't sure if Haramein was a scam
fraud,
or what, a fraud
charlatan,
or
and
whatever.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. So we'll see how that works out. Before we move any further, I'm getting confirmation on my end that well, actually, your video quality looks better to me now. I
Let's
think
see.
I'm coming through 4K. Maybe I'm still coming through 4K. Maybe that's the issue. No, it can't be.
Yeah, video quality is fine. I'm checking it
Well, you're
online, and
looking at it. You're looking at it on a phone. You're not gonna be able to tell.
no, but it's not
Audio is
fuzzy.
better. There's no lag. Anyway, we'll keep it the way it is. Apparently, the audio quality is better, so I'm happy about that.
Okay, we'll test it out.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Peter Hartman, and I'm here with Tom Hartman yet again for another installment of Jumpstart, which is an educational salon. You get to hear our conversation, you get to learn while you do it, and at the end of this, we'll give you some homework that we believe will improve your life. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to go over to youtube.com/happy for a change and subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell so that you know when we go live. We go live pretty often. And right now we're streaming on Facebook, facebook.com/happy for change. We're streaming, I believe, to the Happy for Change audience or the Happy for Change page, but we're not going to be staying on Facebook. We're not going to stay on Facebook. We're just on Facebook to let you know that we're here, but we're going to be exclusively on YouTube. So if you want to stay up to date on what we're doing, make sure you go over youtube.com and you subscribe. It really helps us. We really appreciate it. While you're there, you can hit like on the video. Even if you didn't like it, just hit like. No, only hit like if we offered you true value, which is what we're going to be talking about
Well,
here today.
they could really boost the video if they click like and unlike and like and like on just again and again and again and again, on and off and on and off. Then YouTube really sees that as like, wow, these people
No,
are
the
really
YouTube.
passionate about it.
No, no,
No,
no,
that's how
no.
it
YouTube
works.
doesn't do that. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. But what you can do is create multiple accounts and then like them from the accounts. Or you can set up a server farm and just open up different virtual machines and so you get those views. Open up like a
Oh,
hundred.
I got a guy. He's the same guy who does the K Hive stuff. That could help people set up their own farms. It's always nice to be talking to my younger brother here. He's
Oh,
he really learned a lot from me, and I'm glad to help him
younger
along.
brother, huh? Younger
Yeah,
brother, huh?
yeah,
Yeah, right,
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Not quite, not quite. 4 months older. But today we're going to be talking about true value versus hype, and then we're going to be talking about the right questions to ask. But before we get to that, Tom, is there anything that's on your mind? Anything you want to talk about? You talked about Nassim Haramein. I think that's what was on your mind. You seem pretty on
No, no.
fire because of that.
What's really been on my mind lately is this whole idea of network effects, right? So, network effects, if you don't know, is the idea that the value of a network increases by the square root of the number of participants on a network, which is easy to understand conceptually. If one person's on Facebook, it's not worth that much. If two people are on Facebook, then you can have more connections that are possible. If four people are on Facebook, you have even more value, and when as that number increases, the network becomes more valuable. Now, it's not this eternal process. This is what I've really been thinking about lately. It's not this eternal process. You have different types of network effects that plateau, right? So if you imagine Facebook can only have the number of users, uh, equal to the number of people on the planet, right? Plus all their fake accounts, plus for all their pets or whatever. There's a maximum number, and at a certain point, the number of connections possible becomes you have this diminishing return for the value of the network, and so you have what's called an S curve. Like you have this, it ramps up, and then where the value of the network ramps up, and then it tapers off. But then you can have things like where the network goes, okay, now that we've reached a certain type of saturation point, we have to, if the value proposition for Facebook originally was connecting to your friends and family and maybe acquaintances, maybe now they have to add new features. Maybe now they have to add dating or a marketplace, or make it so that, oh, how can we use these connections for a new thing? And then you could have whoop, another a revival. So you have like this S curve that can be created if you're able to restart a network effect. But then you can also have it where it slows down on the other side, right? You can
Mhm.
imagine how, if on for Uber, if everybody inside of the city becomes an Uber driver, then the value of the network goes from to nothing, right? Because it's no longer worthwhile. You can have this inverse effect that happens where there's too many people there. Or if someone's buying and this is where it came to the topic I want to talk about today. You have sometimes the network effect has this underlying, or it doesn't have to only be a network effect, but let's say you have this value for this underlying asset, this underlying mechanism, and then you have the hype about it, right? So let's
Mhm.
say this thing is quietly increasing in value on its own. Um, then you have people go, oh, this is about, I'm getting value from this, and then more people come on, not because of the value that the network is creating, but because it's cool to be part of the network, let's say,
That's right.
or they think they're going to get more money out of it, or something. To get something, they're trying to get something out of it that has to do directly with the rate increase in the number of users, and not in the value they're actually getting. This is a problem we're seeing. I think we're seeing now with Clubhouse, where because it was so hard to get in, it was invite only. It was valuable to get the invites in order to get into Clubhouse. But then you get into Clubhouse, and the retention there is not, it doesn't is not as sticky as they would like. You have more people, stop and using Clubhouse than you would want. You would want more people. Let's say you have 100 people who go on, who get invites and go on. You would want
Mhm.
as many of them to stay on and less of them to come off. And so, once you have that hype cycle that ramps up the popularity of a network beyond its base value, then you're in acid bubble territory. You get to this point
Wait, what
where
did you just call me?
you get into an ass territory, an acid bubble territory, where this bubble is because there's a divergence between the value of the value of the underlying asset and the hype associated with it. And so, what does that mean? That means that at a certain point, as soon as, if the value that people are getting from it is the rate of in which people are adopting it, as soon as
Mhm.
that rate slows down, a little bit noticeably, you have the other side. You have this precipitous drop off because there's no underlying thing there to for the hype to land on. There's no underlying value to match that. So we see that in like in the dot-com bubble in the stock market. You had the valuations, the actual value of the company was not being reflected in the stock price. The stock price was going up based on the on momentum, on inertia, on hype, and not on the underlying. So when it crashed down, you had this big fall. But if there's an underlying value, especially an underlying network effect, then
Mhm.
that's a buying opportunity, and you can climb back up. So this is what we're gonna go through with Bitcoin. We're gonna get to the point. Bitcoin
Oh,
is
wait, what time is it? 10 minutes and 45 seconds, and then you mentioned Bitcoin.
that's pretty long, pretty long.
It's pretty long.
Yeah. So I had a friend ask me yesterday, um, because I was saying I tweeted out that SafeMoon, what they've been doing, this the cryptocurrency we've been talking about on this channel, just as an example of a cryptocurrency that had this great run up. You had this asymmetrical upside where you can get a huge payout if you had a little bit in. Well, it crashed precipitously. It just dropped fantastically. And Peter, if you'll pull up that my Twitter account just to show that tweet, what I found fascinating about it was that I was even distracted by the idea that this was an acid bubble. Like I know about acid bubbles, I know how to find them, and I didn't even really pay attention to this. So if you take a look at the white chart, if you click on that, well, yeah, on the white chart, you'll see here that this is basically the generalized shape of an acid bubble. So if you go through it from left to right, you'll notice that there's a stealth phase. So if you take a look at that dash gray line that goes from the bottom left to the top right, that is the mean of the average of the price or the value of the network, and then the red is the value as it's marked at any given time. So imagine here that red line is like the price of SafeMoon. Well, in the stealth phase, the price is below the mean. So people who buy there, that's what we call smart money, they get in early. They have very low risk compared to people who come later on, and then they help drive the price up because there's more buyers than there's sellers. Then it starts to take off, and take off is when the price of it is going past the mean. So right now, all those people who bought before are in the money, and basically everyone who bought up until this point is in the green, is in the money. They're making money if they sold right now. Then it gets into the first sell off. That's where people go, okay, the people who are there at the beginning, they go, I'm going to take my profits. That's been good enough. And you can have a large chunk of this.
Hello. Power outage? Oh no, your power went out. A power outage. Well, hang on. Yeah, you can come into it on your. There's a power outage. Yeah, you can come in on your phone if you want to. I mean, maybe the power is going to come back on in a minute. I mean, there's no rush. But wait, you're going to be streaming on your phone? The data is going to be pretty high for that. I anyway, you can come in. We can. Well, I mean, come in. You can try it. Whatever. The link that I sent you on Telegram. You might want to connect your headphones to your phone. It's funny because I was doing something right at the same time, like trying to change the windows, and I thought I'm the one who disconnected everything. My lord, I'm lagging now. I'm told. Okay, not sure why I'm lagging. Oh, well, I mean, we could just. It's up to you. You have a lot to show, so that's what I'm concerned about. How it's going to work. All right, come on in and we'll see how it works. Well, for you guys, for you folks who don't know, Tom, the power just went out at his place. It's what happens when you don't pay the bill. It's what happens when you don't pay the bill. Um, all right. This is how you lose viewers, folks. This is how you lose viewers. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to pick this up at another time. We can just wait and see if it comes up. Power outage. Yowza. Well, to everybody who's watching, I think one person's watching right now, and that person might be me actually. So who knows? All right. Well, I think we're gonna have to pick this up at another time. We wanted Tom to come in on his phone, but that's not working either. So sometimes these things happen. Sometimes these things happen. It's perfectly fine. We'll be back here. What, tomorrow? Maybe not tomorrow. Tomorrow? I don't know. When you want to come back? I'm doing a Baguru Nightly at 8 o'clock. I'll be done. No clue what time I'll be done. No clue. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want us to wait till after that. It could be 10 o'clock at least. I mean, I'm happy to do it 10 o'clock, but it's up to you. Yeah. All right. I'll let you go. Ciao. Well, I think that's it for Jumpstart here today. Unfortunately, the power went out at Tom's location, and here we are. I feel like stalling this a little bit to see if maybe the power comes back on. I feel like as soon as I hit end stream, I'm gonna have Tom pop in and be like, "Oh, it's working now. I got my internet back." But I don't think that's gonna work here today. Well, no harm in me just sitting here, is there? We wanted to talk about value. We want to talk about questions. Should I say my question thing? Nah, I'll save it. I'll save it for tomorrow. We'll come back here tomorrow. We'll do the live stream. If you have any questions or any comments, you can come. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this online. I mean, what's the point of keeping this online, huh? Maybe I'll just delete it. And only those who watch the live will know that this ever happened. Oh, Tom, are you still on the phone? Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay. All right, folks. Stalling is done. Stalling is done. Oh, why am I lagging? Weird. Anyway, ending stream, and I'll see you tomorrow. My name is Peter Hartman. This is. All right, he's not saying it. Tom Hartman, and you're watching Jumpstart or Jump Pause right now. That's what it feels like. Jump Pause. See you guys next time tomorrow. Oh wait, I got some viewers. Hey, the power went out. So at Tom's location. So we're cutting this live stream short. I'll be on with Baguru Nightly tonight, and we'll be doing Jumpstart again tomorrow around 5 o'clock, or yeah, around 5 o'clock. All right, see you then.